grief, death, loss. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff unless it's absolutely pressed upon them. But if you're a human being, you will eventually have to have this conversation. And if you're not handling this personally, wouldn't you still like to know how to handle a situation that's as sensitive as somebody that is going through it? What do you say? So let's tackle the subject of grief, even just for a little bit. I've got the words here from the Dalai Lama to help us out. Let's see what he's got to say. Hey there, in the book, The Art of Happiness by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he's got some really great words on the subject of suffering, but he shares a story, and I'll paraphrase it for you. There's a young woman named Kisagotami who loses her only child, and of course, she's grief-stricken. So, Kisagotami goes from person to person in her town seeking out medicine that can restore her child, and people start to tell her that the Buddha actually has this medicine that can do that. When she finally finds the Buddha, and the Buddha tells her that he can restore her child, she's absolutely relieved. He tells her that he needs a handful of mustard seed in order to accomplish this task. As Kisagotami is leaving, the Buddha lets her know that it's important that that mustard seed comes from a home that never was visited by death to a son, a daughter, a parent, or a servant. She searched frantically, asking every home that she went to if death had visited, and unfortunately, Kisagotami couldn't find a single one. Seeing that she wasn't alone in death, she returned to the Buddha and let her son go, and this is what he had to say. You thought that you alone had lost a son. The law of death is that among all living creatures, there is no permanence. What the Buddha is saying here is that no one can escape this experience. It is something that we must all go through. This is my experience with grief. It is something to be sat with, not overcome. And if you know someone who is dealing with grief and loss, it's something to be sat with, not overcome. Don't try to fix it or rush it along or tell them what they can do or should be doing. There's no right or wrong way. Sometimes you just need someone with you to kind of bear the weight and not do anything. This is a tough subject, but I think it's still a conversation that we need to have openly. We will all experience grief and loss, and we will all know someone very close to us that is experiencing grief and loss. So my hope is that this video assisted you if you find yourself in that situation, even if just a little.